I mean, this is the hard thing after this heartbreak to step up and continue fighting, right?
I really, really struggled. Like, unbelievably struggled from 2012 to like 2014. I almost quit numerous times. I
Yeah.
was so angry. I mean, at one point, I got so mad at the IJF, feeling like they were fucking me every step of the way. I threw a water bottle at a referee after a match. I cussed out a referee one time on a mat. I got suspended from the sport because I was just so angry at that point in time.
And IGF is the International Judo Federation, and are they the people that supply the referees, basically, like
They
the
kind of
certification?
run the sport on a global scale.
So you sent a few emails, 2014, 15, basically quitting. One of them said, "I'm mentally and physically broken." Another said, with a subject line, "I'm done."
Yep.
The weight cuts didn't break you.
No.
So if this broke you, you were really going through a hard time.
I was like, you know what? We're just going to like dumb it down a little bit and get some wins under our belt. I'm going to go to a World Cup, which is like 3 stages down or 4 stages down from like the Olympic Games. Like, this should be like a cakewalk. Like, making the final of a World Cup should be a walk in the park. I show up. I barely beat a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Barely. Then I got smoked in the second round. I got thrown 3 times. I was like, I'm fucking done. They changed all the fucking rules. They fucked me out of the Olympics. Like, what am I supposed to do? And it was at that moment when I wrote the email where I remember sitting at a bar. I don't drink, by the way, but I was sitting at a bar at the hotel sending this email. And I got a response back from Jimmy, and he goes, well, just stay for the training camp, go to Germany, and then whatever happens, don't worry about it. We'll talk when you get home. I was like, fuck that. Fuck these people. Fuck the rules. I don't fucking care anymore. I'm just going to do judo the way I want to do judo. If I fucking get shidoed out, fuck them. That was my response.
Can you become an Olympic champion? Can you become an Olympic medalist with that kind of thinking, you think, or no? Was that, that's counterproductive?
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking, because maybe that's also liberating.
The expectation was no longer that Travis is going to win this tournament. The expectation was Travis is going to come home and be fucking pissed off, and we're going to have to figure out how to manage a pissed off person that's trying to quit that shouldn't be quitting. And
do people still believe that you can be a medalist again?
Yeah.
Like, who believed that?
Jimmy believed it. The team managers believed it. Some of my teammates still believed it. My training partners still did. But they're not the ones that are cutting the weight, flying around, feeling like, you know, all of your judo is now null and void, right? Because at this point, they took away leg grabs entirely. You couldn't break a grip with 2 hands, right? The meta of judo has changed again, right? So I got fucked out of it. They took away how I did judo again, and now it just got more difficult. So when I'm sitting in the hotel and I'm sending this email, I remember being at the training camp, like, I was like, I don't even fucking care what the rules are. I'm just going to fucking throw people. I don't even care if I'm cheating. Doesn't matter to me. I'll just play stupid.
Yeah.
Right? So I just started going back and doing judo without the leg grabs, but with all the same gripping that I was doing beforehand. And then when I got to Germany, I was like, I don't fucking care. I was like, if I got to cheat to win, then I got to fucking cheat to win. If I get shidoed out, like, then I get shidoed out. And I won Germany.
Which event in Germany?
The German Grand Prix, which
German
was
Grand Prix. Yeah.
a week after losing the World Cup, because I was trying to do judo around the new rule set. I wasn't just trying to do judo, right? Because when you get to the highest level, your game tends to morph around, you know, what can or cannot get away with. I was more focused on trying to figure out what I can and can't get away with, and I stopped actively doing judo. Once I said, fuck whatever the rule changes are, I'm just going to keep doing judo the way I know how to do judo, and if I get a penalty, then so be it.
And so that win, that started the road back?
The road back, yeah. Because now it's like, I don't care if you penalize me or not, because I'm going to throw that guy anyways. I'm going to beat him anyways. And if I get a Shido for doing something wrong, then I'll just stop doing that one thing and just keep doing all the other things that they told me I probably shouldn't be doing, but they're not calling me on it, so I'm just going to keep doing it.
Well, you found yourself at the 2016 Olympics. Was that ever a doubt, by the way, after 2014 in Germany?
I had a lot of doubt after the concussion in 2015. I remember when I first came back after 4 months of nothingness that like even trying to like train, the room would start to like tilt-a-whirl on me. And then when I finally got over that and I could start doing things again, I stepped on the mat for the Pan Ams and I was like, drowning's not the right word, but like everything was being done in such a slow motion. Like I had sandbags everywhere that like I just couldn't keep up.
Like mental fog.
Yeah, like I remember fighting the Brazilian in the semifinal of Pan Ams. I was halfway through this match and I'm just like, eyes roll up. I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking wing it. And I just fucking winged it and I got countered and thrown free pwn. And I was like, I don't even know what to do. And I couldn't even think clearly. And that's when I was like, I may not come back.
Yeah. You don't have control over how to come back from this. It's like, it's just your mind and
Yeah,
it's not operating.
It's not there.
Correctly.
It's not like I can like, oh, my right hand's not working because it's fractured. Let me figure out a way I cannot use that. Like when your mind's not working, like it's the one thing you need.
Yeah.
Like you got to have it.
So
I can work through anything else. I needed that though.
And so how did you come back from that time?
That's when I wrote another email and I was like, I'm fucking off Team USA. I'm all done with USA Judo. I'm done with the tour. I was like, I quit. I'm going to go do my own thing. And they were like, whoa. Can't quit now. The Olympics is in like a year. Like, let's talk about this again because it's the second time I've tried to quit in like 2 years. Right? So then we sit down in Jimmy's office and he's like, whoa. You can't quit. You're going to kick yourself if you don't go to Rio. I'm telling you right now, don't do that to yourself. Let's figure out a way of like doing this. And I was like, because when we trained before, we did it as a unit, right? We all went to the same tournaments. We all went to the same training camps. And I'm like, you guys are treating me like I'm the same player I used to be. I go, I'm not operating at the level you think I'm operating at. I go, I can't do that. And he goes, well, what do you want to do? And I go, I'll tell you what, Jimmy, you know I'm being serious because my answer is something you'd never would have expected. I go, I want you to send me to Japan for 3 weeks. And he was like, really? I hated Japan. I refused to go there up until this point. But I was like, I have to get to a point where I can get so tired and get through it that like my judo will come back and my body will learn again.
And when you say Japan, do you mean the Kodokan? Like what's
Tokai?
Tokai. Is that the highest level of judo?
It's one of the top colleges in the world, yeah.
And that's so you can go with the best people in the world. You can go to war with them. Top level, like strong players.
Yeah, there's a lot of very strong players. There's a lot of middle class players. And there's a lot of volume of rounds.
So you value all of it, the middle class too,
because when you're tired, like you can't just train in areas where you're battling for every inch. At some point, you have to be successful. Right. So you still under duress and under strain and through exhaustion, you still have to have the ability to score.
Yeah.
Well, if you're training with the best people in the world all the time, you're not always going to be able to score. Right. So you still need those B-level players in order to really develop again.
What is it like, if you can comment briefly on training in Japan? What's it like to go into a different place? You probably don't speak the language that well. Like, is there an isolation aspect to it? Is it like purely about judo now?
I really wanted to be isolated, no training partners, no coaches. I wanted to get back to my roots and just learn how to fight again. I don't want to figure out how to beat the German. I don't want to figure out how I can develop a new entry into my SEO against, whoever it may be. It's not.
You just want to fight hard.
I just want to fight. Let me get back to fighting. Let me get back to like the root of who I am.
What were those sessions like? What were we talking about? 5-minute rounds? Like how many?
6-minute rounds, 30-minute breaks, 14 rounds a session.
Sorry, what's the 30-minute break?
30-second break.
30-second
30-second break.
Sorry, what? 14?
14 rounds.
14 rounds.
Every day.
Every day.
5 days a week, and then 11 or 12 rounds on Saturday. Plus weightlifting, plus running.
Plus weightlifting, plus running. So those are hard rounds.
Yep.
What's it feel like to go through that? So you have a bunch of just a sea of black belts.
Yep.
Japan. I'm sure they're hunting you a little bit.
Depending on who you are. I was hunted a little bit. Like, I didn't really struggle because of who I am. Them as college athletes, they want to show to their coaches and their, higher players, like, oh, look, I can throw the world number whoever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just a guy who shows up, like, them beating you doesn't provide any value or raise their status.
Right. No, but you're status raising.
Yes. So I was actually like in a situation where nobody was watching me, and I was free to just battle at my own will.
Okay.
Which is what it was about for me.
And you just pushed yourself.
Because I knew how to do that. I know how to push myself.
Are you, when you're doing these 14 rounds, is every single one a standalone thing for you?
Yep.
So you're not trying to pace yourself?
Nope.
It's just
each one is to as much exhaustion as I can get.
But then there must be ones where like it's like round 9 where you got nothing left.
Better figure out how to score. That's all you got to do. You got to survive and you got to score.
What's your memories of those 3 weeks? What stands out to you? It seems like, because that's the place where you found the silver medal.
Yep. Because it's the place most people don't want to be. Everybody's comfortable. I would rather find out who I am and what I'm made of and find those endpoints. And if I can't find them, then that means everybody else has given up before me.
Were there a few people that just kind of you returned to battle over and over in those times, and then it was just
Yep.
no social media,
Nope.
none of that. It's just like two
You
men.
go lock yourself in your room. You come back. You've thought about it, and you come back with a game plan for that day against some players here or there. And I would develop a hit list. Like, I would be like, oh, that motherfucker grabbed me at like 13, and I watched him sit fucking 4 rounds and then come try to kick the shit out of me. I'm gonna fucking grab that guy early and I'm gonna beat the shit out of him. And you just develop that list.
There's probably some epic battles in that room, right?
Yeah.
What's it look like? Like, how crowded is it? Like,
Very.
And so you're just like, yeah,
It's a sea of people.
see people, and you're trying to. Are you doing groundwork at all? Just throws.
Just throws.
Just throws.
No transitions, no nothing. But if I get pissed off and like you keep dropping or like not letting me do what I want to do,
Yeah.
I'll rip a choke right across your face.
Yeah.
Just to let you know that like I
You have-
can if I wanted to.
You have a really nice style of just like respectfully bullying the shit out of people.
Because some people call me a bully, and I have to remind them that like a bully enjoys like beating up the weak.
Right.
I want to beat the person that fights back.
Right. Exactly.
It's not fun for me if you don't fight back.
Right. Some of the greatest people I've seen like do this. They basically you have this in the Iowa wrestling rooms. They'll push each other into the wall. Like there's like anger, but it's ultimately underneath it all. It's like a deep respect.
I was training with Colton Brown one time, and I went to San Jose State because I was in California for something. And he kept circling to the edge. They had like a cupboard that had like, when you opened it, it had like all the tape and like medical supplies. I was like, I'm gonna fucking put you right through that. And he kind of giggled, and then he went by that edge, and I fucking ran him right through it.
Yeah. See, to me, that's an ultimate sign of respect that both you and Colton will remember well.
And we're still friends. We still talk. It's just, I told him I was going to do it. He knew I meant it too.
Yeah.
He did it anyways. He was just testing me.
Yeah. Listen, that's, and that same attitude that was in Japan, just day after day after day after day.
Yep.
14 rounds. That's rough. And you didn't sit out rounds?
And I did it all with a broken hand.
How?
You know,
How did you do it with a broken hand?
you show up every day.
You show up. Okay.
I
Which
actually
one, left
did-
or right?
My right.
Okay, so that's okay. So you can then focus on gripping with your left.
It's always a way.
There's always a way. But that means you can't, I guess you don't have to grip with your right sometimes. You could
I
just,
would palm it with my thumb just like hanging out like this.
just like this. So you can do something. So you could do like a goshi, because you have a, um,
Because I
what were your main throws? It was Seinagi. You did it.
Koshiguruma,
Okay.
Sumi, Uchimata.
Shimada. But you have this big, like ogoshi type of thing. Like
Yeah, but not from like around the waist. It's from over the shoulder.
over the shoulder.
And I can do it with just the one hand,
Oh, sorry, which one hand?
the right one. I don't
But
need
you
the
could-
sleeve hand.
You don't need the sleeve hand, but you couldn't do it with the broken hand.
I could. Because I can just put my hand in the gi so it can't come off. And then you just. Because what happened was 3 days before I was leaving for Japan, a guy, my hand was rested like this on a mat. And the guy, boom, took my whole thumb off and tore all the tendons in the palm.
Yeah.
So when I went to the doctor, he was like, you know, we have to put a cast on it. And I go, I'm leaving in 3 days. He goes, you're not putting a cast on it. And I go, this is what I want you to do. Just like this. I said, I want you to build a cast that holds it, that Velcros around so that when I'm not training, I can wear it.
Yeah.
But then when I'm training, I'll take it off and then I'll put the tape on it. And then whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens. All right. So that's epic. And that led you to the 2016 Olympics in Rio.
Well, that led me to winning Pan Am gold
Yeah,
when I
that
got back
was
from
big.
Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and then almost getting my leg cut off in 2015. That was like, I don't know, maybe a month or two later. I was hospitalized for 7 days.
The leg being cut off for what?
I had 3 different types of bacterial infections in my right leg. My whole leg swelled, and it was in my blood, skin, and in my bone, in my right leg. So I got stuck at MGH in a hospital for 7 days until they figured out what the bacteria source was.
Where was the source of the infection? Is it in the
my
knee?
knee.
In the knee?
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously there's a danger of like, that's life threatening.
Yep. When I went into the emergency room when I got back from the Worlds, the lady was like, hey, you need to call who you're going to call because you may lose your leg tonight.
Yeah.
And then they put me in the hospital.
What are you thinking this whole time? Are you still thinking about Olympics?
They put me into the room like 4 hours later. The doctor came in. I was at MGH in Boston, and he was like, you have a serious infection in your leg. I go, he's like, we have to keep you hospitalized until we can figure out what it is. And I was like, buddy, I have the Olympic Games in less than a year. I go, I don't give a fuck what it is. I go, just fucking take it out and let me get on with my day. He goes, we can't do that. I'm like, I don't understand. I go, you told me it's infected. Just cut away that part of the tissue, drain it, do whatever you got to do, and then send me on my way.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it doesn't work like that. He said, until we figure out what it is, we can't figure out how to stop it from growing or how far it spread. So it took them 7 days to figure out what it was. Then once they figured out what it was, I went in for surgery to remove it. Then I spent, I think it was 8 weeks in-home care with a PICC line. And then I came back from that. In the first week and a half of judo, I tore my SI joint trying to throw a guy. And then I came back from that about a month later, and then 5th at the Kano Cup. And then the games 6 months later.
How quickly do doctors understand who they're dealing with? Like, is that difficult for you to explain who Travis Stevens is when you go to visit a doctor?
I don't think they understand, their role is to get me to do my job to the best of their ability as a doctor.
Right.
Meaning it's going to be less than what they want. And they struggle conceptually with like, but the textbook tells me this. And I go, but I'm not a textbook. Right? Like when you go to physical therapy, the first thing they do is they pull out that binder that says, day 1, we do this exercise.
Mm-hmm.
I go, but I have my own goals.
Yeah.
Your job is to help me meet my goal. Let's work a plan to do that, or I got to go find somebody else.
Did doctors in general, people outside of your close-knit group step up?
If they didn't, I found somebody else. And typically I could find a person who knew the right person.
I always wonder with people like, because I'm constantly surrounded by one of the biggest problems in my life has been there's a lot of people in my life who love me very much, but who want me to the equivalent of that situation. Definitely don't go to the Olympics, and definitely like take like it seems like the world is full of people that want you to be average and happy, which is
Yes.
great, which is fine. I mean, perhaps that's the way it should be. Like my parents, people close to you, that's what how love manifests itself often in people. But then, like, I think the ultimate manifestation of love is understanding who this person is. Here's a madman who's driven towards a particular thing, and the best thing for you to do is not to say like rest, is to say work harder. Like fuck your infection.
Yeah.
You should be training.
Yeah.
Have you ever met anybody as crazy as you that can help you?
Most of us who get to this point get there because we're all a little unstable.
Yeah.
Even my wife, Galita, right? Like when she was getting ready for 2016, or when she was getting ready for 2020, because she moved to Boston to be a coach, she had a neck problem, right? And at some point in time, it's like, what's really important? Day-to-day life or judo? And believe it or not, the doctor in Canada was like, I am never, under any circumstances, doing an MRI of your neck again. That's what she told her. She goes, if you have me do an MRI,
Yeah.
you're not doing judo again. So just know, if you hurt your neck and it requires an MRI, you're done with judo forever.
Yeah.
So decide if you want to do judo or not. That was a conversation we actually had to have.
That's a cool thing for a doctor to say. I mean, it depends how badass they sound when they say it. So that's a tough conversation. Judo 1. What's this with your wife? What's that relationship like? So you're both a little crazy
A little bit.
in the good sense, or from my perspective, in a good sense.
Yeah. It's just we understand that when you set a goal to do something, you're not signing on for the good.
Yeah.
You're signing on for the bad. And I don't think a lot of people understand that.
That's like a Valentine's Day card from Travis Stevens.
It's you have to like accept everything negative that could possibly happen. And until you do, you're never going to make it, because you'll always sell yourself short.
Yeah.
You'll never go far enough.
And if you sign up for the whole thing, then the negative is just like, oh, great. Like,
I expected that.
if you're experiencing the negative, they're also experiencing the negative. And if you overcome it, maybe they'll get knocked out from it.
Yep. Maybe they won't deal with it. Maybe they won't train through it. Right? When I had my 5 herniated disc and I was in a neck brace, I was still in the gym at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
doing whatever it is I could do, because my job is to be at the gym.
David Goggins, I don't know if you know the guy. He's damaged lots of parts of his body like you, trying to achieve things. So, unlike you, his achievements are like, your achievements come with a medal. He's just running in the darkness in the middle of nowhere by himself. It's like, I mean, it's the same probably as with you, if you're able to be introspective about it, is he's just battling his own inner demons and working through those, and is breaking his body doing so. Are you cognizant of the trade-off of the fact that, you're damaging your body to get to these levels of achievements, of this level of excellence, of this level of greatness?
I mean, I guess that depends on what you consider damage, really, because I don't really see that I have damaged my body. If anything, I think I've strengthened it. My body can go through more than yours can.
Yeah.
Whose is weaker?
Yeah.
Right? It's just like the Thai boxers, right?
Yeah.
In order to strengthen their shins, they got to break it a few times.
Yeah.
It's just nature of the beast.
You just had to break a bunch of stuff to find where the weak points are, and then made them stronger.
Yep. Or strengthen the areas around it to strengthen it by, the sheer relation to it.
But the problem is, like, you may not be able to do judo until you're 70.
Why not? I may not be able to do judo to the level I used to.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but I can still do judo.
You can still do
And I
judo.
think a lot of people struggle with, they want to keep doing it like they used to be able to do it. I don't try to do judo like I used to, like you're seeing here.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy anymore. I accept that. I don't even try to be that guy anymore. I'm a completely different player today than I am when I was winning Olympic medals. And so I guess when you're looking at like my journey, and the trade-off is I never sacrificed anything. The people around me sacrificed for me. And I never had a downturn after the Olympics because I never identified as an Olympian.
You know, a lot of Olympians suffer from depression afterwards.
Because they
all that kind of stuff.
identify as it. Now they don't have who they are.
Where was your personal moment of greatness? Like, or do you not experience life that way, where you were truly proud to be yourself? Like
Every day I wake up.
you're,
You wake up and you're not proud of who you are, then you've really got to seek out some like help.
so that's, first of all, okay. I'll do that because I definitely am not proud of who I am. I just wonder if you didn't identify with the Olympics, was there times maybe in the training room, maybe in Japan, like where you just kind of felt like,
I get more of an emotional, I guess, trigger, right? Where like I feel proud of what I've done when I've set to a task and I've done it.
so almost any task.
And the more challenging the task, the more reward.